What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday evening. So the Grand Dame is free, y'all. Yes, Karen Huger has been released from prison today. Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen Huger was released Tuesday morning from prison, according to the Montgomery County Department of Correction and Rehabilitation. The 62-year-old served a one-year sentence at the Montgomery County Detention Center in Maryland for driving under the influence, among other charges. She was sentenced to 2 years in prison with 1 year suspended. Hugo served her time in the facility, according to a spokesperson for the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Maryland has a credit system in which some of the inmates can earn a reduction in their sentence. Inmates who are not eligible for this system are those who are accused of serious SA offenses. Huger, who is a fan favorite of the Real Housewives of Potomac cast, has been coined the Grand Dame. She was convicted late last year by a Montgomery County jury of a DUI, among other charges connected to a March 19th, 2024 solo crash near Oakland Drive in Potomac. No one was injured in the crash. Prosecutors had requested 6 months in prison, and defense lawyers wanted no time in favor of rehabilitation. Huger was branded a repeat offender by prosecutors, who pointed out three previous alcohol-related traffic cases between 2006 and 2011. That's new to me. I didn't realize that it was within that 5 year span. So between 2006 and 2011, that was, I mean, it's not like recent, but they were in all within 5 years of each other. That's interesting. None of the previous cases had led to prison time. Huger was sentenced to prison this time and a $2,900 fine and 5 years probation. She admitted fault in court, saying that she was grateful that no one was injured by her actions. I'm also grateful. That could have been really serious, especially, when that body cam footage came out from that cop. That's when I knew that it was a wrap. That she called that police officer white and poor. Karen. And then she said she was Thomas Jefferson's concubine. I'm like, child, it's a wrap. I'm telling you, fame is the double-edged sword. But in all seriousness, I am glad that she didn't hurt herself or someone else, because it could have been a lot worse. When they drove past the damage, the site where the crash happened, and Giselle was just like, "Oh my goodness," like the camera showed us with the trees and the street signs, and I mean, it could have been really, really bad if somebody was out there jogging or walking their dogs or whatever. There wasn't a lot of light there, because it is a pretty affluent area, so it was a lot of like woods and trees and things like that, spaces between the houses. But I'm just glad that she didn't take her own life or somebody else's life. So I'm very glad for that. Um, it says in this article is from NBC. I'll link it in the description if you guys want to read it. It further says, now that she's been released, Huger won't be allowed to drive for a year, and if she violates probation, she could be sent back to prison to serve the year of suspended time. An attorney for Huger did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Fans and reality stars alike reacted to the news of Huger's release online. One person wrote, "She shouldn't have been in jail anyway. Welcome home, Queen." I don't know about the fact that she shouldn't have been in jail. I feel like, the fourth time is the charm. With Karen being a public figure, I feel like if they would have not given her um, any type of sentence after her fourth alcohol-related offense, then it would have sent almost like a negative message out. Part of the reason why offenders are locked away, of course, to protect society as a whole, but also it serves as a deterrent for future offenders and future criminals. You're not gonna just you're gonna think twice about walking up and mollywopping somebody, with the exception of self-defense. But folks can run their mouth on your nerves or whatever the case may be. But most people value their freedom over you know committing these acts. And then I feel like in the future going forward, not only can Karen not drive for a year, but also um, I'm hoping that she will have like the Uber app and the Lyft app uploaded to her phone. And of course, her daughter, her kids, Raven or her some Ray or somebody, she'll like think twice, right, before going behind the wheel. Like she'll call Ray or call a taxi or call an Uber or whatever the case may be, right? Walk home. Because I feel like they said that the establishment that she left was not very far from her house. So even that would be, I mean, I guess they could get on public intoxication, but hopefully, this is something that will lead to just change behavior overall. You know, um, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and Karen is 62, so I feel like everybody can continue to grow and change and improve as long as we have breath in our bodies. I'm a lifelong learner myself, so I feel like hopefully this will be the last alcohol related offense that she's gotten, especially since I feel like this, since this one did lead to prison time, that it will have sent the message home that, you want to value your freedom over getting behind a vehicle intoxicated. Former Real Housewives of Atlanta peach holder Marlo Hampton posted on Instagram in support of Huger's homecoming. Not Marlo. I feel like Marlo is just like, she would have been, I think, much better if she'd stayed a friend of, because she was like one season and pretty much done with being a peach holder, and we haven't really heard from her ever since. But she was going to show up, she was a friend of. Anyway, she says, quote, "Welcome home, sis. Some were not as happy as others to see her free. One commentator wrote, not enough time for that drunk. Others online speculated if she would return to Real Housewives of Potomac. The show's 10th season will premiere on October 5th. One person wrote, I want her back on the show ASAP, living her best life. And another commentator believes the Grand Dame will make an appearance for season 10. Bravo, they did not respond to a request for comment. I feel like Bravo has enough going on with their own, lawsuits from Britt Eady, Leah McSweeney, Carolyn Manzo. Child, they're up to their eyeballs in lawsuits. But I will say this: I hope that if Phaedra can come back to Real Housewives of Atlanta with only a couple episodes left in the season, I feel like they should absolutely bring Karen back. I mean, she is a fan favorite. I do like the fact that her and Giselle are closer now. The trailer, as I made a video about that. You guys can go listen to it. But she opened up the trailer with writing a letter to Karen and just saying, and Giselle just saying that she needs help. I'm like, Lord, Giselle's a mess and a half. But Karen is somebody who I feel like, she's an original cast member. She's one of the anchors of Potomac. And she's somebody that the ladies look to for, just wisdom and guidance. And she's a lot of fun. When Karen does open up about her life, she is somebody who just brings a smile to people's face. She's very witty, she's very funny, and we miss having her on Potomac. So I feel like since Phaedra was able to, kind of fill in the spot that Kenya left, not saying that any of the ladies are leaving Potomac, but they're bringing Monique Samuels back. So I feel like they should absolutely bring back Karen for the last few episodes of season 10. And if not for season 10, at least for season 11. We definitely need, Karen to, grace us with her presence. Yes, for the Grand Dame. I feel like, everybody makes mistakes. Like I said, I'm hopeful that she has learned from this. But, Karen is somebody who I feel like can take this and, share her own, her journey, with a lot of people, I feel like if she does it correctly and if she's open and transparent, and who knows if, um, she's willing to do that, but hopefully, um, her test can be turned into, a testimony, or that she can, her story can help other people. So it doesn't have to be something that's necessarily um, all negative. I feel like she's definitely a bright spot on our TV screen. So you guys can hear my dogs in the background. But anyway, so yeah, I would love to see the Grand Dame back on our TV screens. And I'm glad that she's out. I'm glad that, she wasn't in there for too long. And I honestly thought that, once I learned about her plea, the plea bargain or the plea deal, where she could have just done 6 months, I think, like in home confinement with an ankle bracelet, that would have been a lot better than going to prison. But I guess, Karen didn't think that she was going to have any type of, prison time. She had never served prison time in the past, so I'm sure she probably thought that this one was going to go the same way. But now she's become much more of a public figure. And like I said, once that body cam footage came out where she was saying all kind of crazy things to that police officer, and we saw just how intoxicated she was. Like, this wasn't just, a couple glasses of wine. This was like Karen was she was faded. You know what I mean? Her wig was faded to the back. Poor Ray was, by her side, struggling, trying to keep it together and trying to help her out. But I mean, that whole situation was a mess. So, um, if I would have, if I was Karen, I would have been like, okay, yeah, they got me, in 4K out here. Let's go ahead and do the ankle bracelet thing. But Karen was like, I mean, she's like, I guess thinking that she didn't get any kind of, real repercussions the first, second, or third time. But at this point, the fourth time, I mean, the judge's hands are pretty much tied. So the fact that she got out early for good behavior, I think is great. I'm hoping, like I said, that it leads to her being more open and transparent with not only the cast members, but her audience as well. Maybe she could turn us into some kind of community advocacy, and turn her life around. So congratulations to Karen for getting out. Welcome home. Hopefully, things will be on the straight and narrow from now on. What I want to do is hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.